a new bill is addressing chronic absenteeism in schools. Stand for Children is seeing troubling absence rates in K through 12 students, and Oregon is ranked with the third highest of those rates in the country.
Well, they are supporting a new bill, HB 4154, that hopes to track stronger data for attendance rates. Joining us is the executive director of Stand for Children Oregon, Sarah Pope, to talk about this work. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you here.
And we're having you here on a morning with a little bit of breaking news in the education world. We just saw the new numbers from the class of 2025.
Right.
Those graduation rates higher than at any point in Oregon school history. And so you have to wonder, how much higher could we get that number if the problem of chronic absenteeism was also addressed? What are we seeing here in our schools?
Yeah, well, the graduation data is really good news. About a decade ago, other legislation was passed that Stan was involved in that really helped raise the graduation rate. So we found that when we dedicate research and funding to the highest impact strategies, schools implement it really well. And then in graduation, kids are doing much better. So we're really hoping to do the same thing when it comes to chronic absenteeism in the state.
What exactly is the problem with absenteeism? What does this look like?
Yeah, so being chronically absent means you're missing 10% or more of school every year. So in Oregon, that's 3 weeks or more. And in Oregon, we have over 30% of our kids missing that much school.
Wow.
Third highest in the country. And we've been high before the pandemic too. So this has been a chronic problem in Oregon and something that makes it really hard to graduate on time, to be a strong reader by 3rd grade, to do math well in 8th grade. So absolutely something our state needs to get a handle on.
Yeah, and of course, I'm sure the big question coming up for a lot of families is why? Why are we seeing this happening? What do we know about it?
Right. Well, we don't have a lot of research or a lot of data in Oregon right now, which is why we're pushing for this bill in this upcoming session that starts on Monday to start collecting that information much more often and then report it out publicly much more often. So in states that have made the biggest gains, they often start with collecting the data and sharing it out. The next step would be something like an early warning system so that schools can really accurately track why is the student approaching being chronically absent, what can we do to get the student back, so they have a much better sense of what's causing it. But right now we have a lot of schools guessing about what to do and we don't have a really clear data set to start from.
Interesting. Okay, well, again, the session starts on Monday. It's just right around the corner. What is the next step for you with the session around the corner in pushing this bill?
Yeah, so session will start on Monday and then the bill needs to have a hearing, I believe by Monday the 9th, if I'm doing my math right about what the next Monday is, to move out of the committee to get to the floor for a vote. So it's a really short session. Things have to move really quickly. We don't anticipate problems with this bill. This is really just the first step in what Oregon is going to need to do to address our rates of chronic absenteeism. But we will be watching those deadlines very carefully.
That's a good point. I'm assuming you've obviously been speaking with lawmakers or advocates, up to this point. You're receiving a lot of support, it sounds like, from both sides of the aisle?
Yeah, this is a bipartisan bill. We have strong support both in the House and the Senate. It should really sail through, but the real work is going to come from then implementing and then adding additional strategies. So first step.
Well, and of course that kind of comes under the bigger umbrella of the education picture in Oregon. And the fact is we continue to see funding gaps that a lot of local districts are struggling with. The overall support for our students in the classroom is a struggle right now. So what's the case that you would make, to lawmakers who also have a lot on their plates, understatement of the year, to say we do need to be focusing on education and focusing on these systems in addition to everything we've got going on?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a challenging time. We haven't seen an economic downturn in the state in a while, and it looks like that's what we're heading towards. Most importantly, I think after the attendance work is that we hold the line on the length of our school year. We have a study coming out later this morning that shows the impact of Oregon's really short school year and really high rates of chronic absenteeism are really disastrous for children. And in this state, for those of us who are around for a while, we used to just cut school days when budgets got tight. 2003, we cut like 23 school days, 24 school days from a lot of school calendars. So it's going to be really important that we hold the line on the school calendar because we also know that if you're not in school, be it because you're chronically absent or the school year is too short, it's hard to be on track in all the academic indicators we need for our kids and then for our state.
Interesting. Well, I mean, there could be so many reasons why a student is missing that much school time. So it'll be interesting to follow this House bill. Again, it's House Bill 4154. The session starts on Monday, and we're going to keep tabs on it. Sarah, really do appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. And again, there is that media briefing later on this morning at 9:30. That bill up for discussion with that legislative session. Again, starting Monday, February 2nd. We're going to keep tabs on it, and you can always learn more at KOIN.com.
It is